What's up? Happy Monday. It is 1:45 p.m. That I'm recording this, which means I'll still have to upload it. So you should get this around 2:30. Week one of our new series, The Messengers, as we talk about the book of Acts. Those who are now out spreading the gospel. Jesus has died. He has risen from the dead. At the time of today's or this week's story, he has ascended into heaven. We are jumping all the way to Acts chapter 9 with Saul's conversion. Saul is going to meet Jesus. He's been persecuting Christians, but at this point he is going to change his name to Paul and change his outlook on life and Jesus and faith and religion, all those things. So we have an opening small group from the start time of service to 15 minutes into service. So I'm going to use 8 o'clock as the reference point, but just know it applies to every service. So if you're at 8 o'clock, maybe 8:05, depending on if you still have kids rolling in 11 o'clock, you always have kids showing up late, maybe give them that 5-minute buffer. But that doesn't mean you get 5 extra minutes for your small group. It means your small group goes from 15 minutes to 10 minutes. So as we're talking about being messengers, your opening small, and this is my copy, so I have it written on it and stuff, but your opening small group is the game Telephone. So you're going to start by introducing yourself to your group, let them introduce each other, and you're going to play a game Telephone where you are going to whisper a phrase into the ear of the person next to you. They're going to whisper that same phrase to the ear of the person next to them, until you get all the way around. You're going to see how close did it get, because we're talking about the importance of sharing the correct message and sharing the true message. And this is our first week of talking about this. So that is it for the first 15 minutes is like, I'm Trevor. What's your name? Anyone new here? Awesome. Oh, great. You're new. What's your name? Great. Nice to meet you. So glad you're here. You can do highs and lows for the week. It even says that right here. You can go, hey, what's something awesome that happened this week? Play Telephone. Come across the hall. K1, second, third, fourth, fifth is already there at 8:15 or whatever your time would be. From 8:15 until about 8:30, you're going to be doing, we have a new memory verse, Isaiah, I think it's 6:9, let me check, 6:8, 9:6 is, for to us a child is born, for us son. So Isaiah 6:8 is our memory verse, so you'll go over that together. No prizes this week for saying the memory verse. It's a long one though. It is, here I have it right here. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send and who will go for us? And I said, here I am, send me. So for our younger kids, it could take a couple of weeks. So like I said, we'll practice that. You're also going to play a game that involves throwing circles of cardboard decorated like pizzas to designated, kind of like pizza shuffleboard. So that's going to be really fun. You have a couple kids come up on stage and play that. So you'll do your memory verse, the big idea, that game. And then we will go into our time of worship where we have 2 songs. They're not new songs for us all together, but we haven't done them in a little bit. So the 2 songs followed by our video, at which point that will now be about 30 minutes into service or into the large group time, which puts us at 8:45. So we had 15 minutes of small groups, 30 minutes of large group, back to 15 plus minutes of small groups. It really depends on how long church goes. So you always have your opening questions for the second small group. Hey, let's just see if you remember what today's video was about. Sorry, my eye started itching like absolute nuts. That's those first small group questions. What was today's story about? Feel free to skip those anytime you want. Because the other piece is the reflection piece, which is like, hey, what's the message? And it says, we've been talking a lot about delivering a special message for God because, well, we are God's messengers. I encourage you, by the way, you have like a little script here. I would read it ahead of time and paraphrase it. You don't just want to read it to your kids because if you go, they're just really not interested. Probably because you're just reading a piece of paper to them. But again, you always have this as a reference. So before we become a messenger, we need to know the message. What message about Jesus do we need to tell others about? This is another question. It gets the discussion going, but it's not just like, did you pay attention today? Because you could have never been to VRL before and not watched the story, and you can answer that question. If you're new to church, maybe not. That's where it's a great question for those kids to learn about Jesus and what that message is. So Then you have a time for prayer request and a scripted prayer right here. And so I always like to say, hey, I want someone in our group to pray. And if no one wants to pray, then you go, will someone just read this prayer? And then you just hand them this. And then they read, God, thank you for making us all your messengers. We are grateful that we don't need any special talent to deliver your message. We just need to be willing like Paul was. Please help us to deliver the message about Jesus to the people around us this week. Amen. So, again, when kids don't want to pray, first just explain or just talk to God like you would talk to God in private by yourself. A lot of our kids probably aren't doing that. So you go, okay, well, let me help you. How about you just read this? Again, also you can take prayer requests, and then you have some games and activities. You have a memory verse, just practicing saying it together. Throw it on the projector or on the screens in your rooms. For kindergartners, probably can't read it. So, and then you have another option called Mailed It, and you're going to get papers like this. Every kid would get one of these. I'm working on getting them cut out for the younger kids, so you don't take your entire time doing that. But the idea is you will cut this out and then have them write on the back side, okay? Because once they've written on the back side, you'll then fold it up and glue it together or seal it together so that it looks like this, and you'll have stickers to put where the stamps go so they can then say they're giving it to a friend. Because it says here, an easy way to be God's messenger is to tell someone else that God loves them, and we are God's messengers, and we are all given the job of delivering this special message as often. I can't say the word message, apparently message is how it comes out every time. Then think about someone you might want to give this message to, and write them a letter or draw them a picture about the story of Jesus. So they are writing something or drawing something about the story of Jesus. And then they're going to just, for pretend, they're going to write that person's name on here, and they can then give that person. So they're not really going to mail it. I guess if they really want to mail it, then you can not give them a sticker here and say, go home and use a stamp. There is also kind of a preteen hack here if you want to make it a little bit, not tougher, that's the wrong word, but you want to make it more applicable. They're fifth graders going into sixth grade. They can do a little bit more. There's some stuff there. And then if you still have time at the end, as a group, you can replay telephone, or if you just have a couple of minutes, you can let them play with the Lego wall, make paper airplanes, play foosball, play the video games, basketball. So you have all those options there. But that's what we're doing start to finish. So our service is broken down 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. So you'll have about equal time in small groups and large groups. It's just broken down a little bit differently. So use that first time to sort of set the stage for that relationship. And go, I'm Trevor. I'm your small group leader. Who are you? I'm so glad you're here. When you come back, you're not now kicking off with like, I'm this guy that you don't know. You're going, hey, we just learned this from our story. We just heard this in a worship song. We just said this memory verse. Let's talk about that together now. So that's the plan. A couple quick announcements on March 15th from 1 to 2:30. We are having a volunteer elementary kidmin training. We're having a training. It's going to be more about I'm calling it the perfect service. How do we, from start to finish, have a perfect service? What does that look like? Is perfect even attainable? And the answer is maybe, which is like the worst teaser ever. But it's going to be super great. Lunch will be provided, so I'm going to send out a Planning Center invite for you to RSVP to so that we can have enough food. If you can't make it, let me know. We're going to try and get it recorded. And then another announcement is on May 22nd. That's the week later from 6 to 8:30, I think. Maybe it's 6 to 8. Maybe it's 6:30 to 8. I don't know. I have an invite card for you or a digital. I'm going to send something to you. It's all volunteers across the whole church. It's a celebration night. So it's going to be in the auditorium from 6-ish to 8-ish, somewhere in those ballparks. It's just going to be fun. We're going to celebrate, have a great time. And then third thing, I'm just really bad about announcing things. But there's been a little teaser to hear this whole time. But look, my wife's having a baby, so we will have 2 kids in October. So we're having 1 kid in October. We already have 1, so it's not twins. But anyway, so that's exciting for me. And so again, I will be planning on taking just like, I don't know, a few Sundays off. I'm guessing I'll just be exhausted beyond all reason. Having a second kid. So that'll come up later. But anyway, if you do see my wife and you go, she looks like she might be pregnant, but I'm just not sure, she is. And so it's not weird, and you can ask her about it. So anyway, guys, have a great day. I will see you on Thursday. I'll see you on Sunday. Almost said Wednesday. That's the wrong day. My brain's broken. Have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.